Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album War. Today, we got another one. 2 for 2 today. Two, a little more on the kind of unknown side. Maybe for some, not for others. All right, two classic underground heavy albums. Two of the more influential albums as far as like the stoner rock scene goes. You know, you look up like the history of stoner rock or stoner metal, whatever you want to call it, and a lot of times you'll see both of these bands mentioned as being a heavy influence on today's stoner rock bands. All right, but they definitely, both of these bands deserve to be bigger than they were. Neither band stuck around for very long at all. You know, in one instance, one album, the other two, both kind of like reunited many years later. Okay. But as far as like their early part of their career, you know, we're looking at these two releases, one from 70, one from 71. All right. Heavy, influential, kick-ass, deserve to be mentioned more when we talk about the greats of the kind of heavy rock, hard rock, proto-metal scene of the kind of late 60s and early mid-70s. All right, so let's start off with the debut from Sirlordbaltimore. All right, no, they weren't from Baltimore. They were from Brooklyn, New York. Kingdom Come. All right, don't mind the cover a little bit. This is actually a 2-on-1. Both of their albums are on here, but that's basically the cover art for Kingdom Come, the debut. And the other, from Britain, all right, Leafhound, Growers of Mushroom. Okay? Two really great albums, guys. Really great albums. This album, bruising, heavy rock. You know, I can't tell you, kick-ass guitar player and guitar work. They were a trio, great vocals, just a thunderous trio. If you like, you know, early Sabbath and like Budgie and stuff like that, man, cranking stuff on here. Maybe some of that really heavy Mountain Grand Funk Railroad, though they were certainly heavier than Grand Funk. And on the Leafhound side, also heavy in spots, but they took on, you know, they did a more of a Zeppelin vibe, so they had some really cool bluesy tunes, a couple folky tunes, but also some really heavy kick-ass, you know, hard rock tunes as well. Both great. So let's take a look at each one. So I'm going to start off with the Sirlordbaltimore album first, because that was released a little bit earlier, December 1970. Who's in the band? You got John Garner on lead vocals and drums. You got Louis Dombra on guitar, killer player, and Gary Justin on bass. So kicks off with a killer track called Master, you know, and then of course the track listing is a little bit skewed on my CD because I think the original track listing started off with Master Heartache, which is a great tune with just some killer riffs. Then you got Hard Rain Fallen, Lady of Fire. Hard Rain Fallen, by the way, is also blistering. Lake Isle at Innisfree, kind of a little proggy there, a little bit. Pumped Up, raucous, bulldozingly heavy. The title track, Kingdom Come, great tune. I Got a Woman, all right, which is an old blues, rhythm and blues tune, all right, done Sirlordbaltimore style, heavy rock. Hellhound, amazing. Hellhound is just probably one of my favorite tunes off this album. It's screaming guitar, all right, brutal riffs. Ugh. Helium Head, I Gotta Love, another killer tune, and Eight Got Hung on You to finish it all off. 38 minutes of just pure early heavy rock bliss. Love it. I'm telling you, if you haven't heard Sirlordbaltimore, Kingdom Come, or their second album, self-titled, they're both great. If you can get, these are really hard to get. I paid probably $50 for this CD a bunch of years ago because both of these albums are out of print, and this is a 1984 Polygram Records reissue. It's got both albums on here. If you can grab this, well worth it. Trying to see if there's anything. Yeah, I mean, other than like an essay and a couple pictures, nothing really crazy on the inside. But two great albums, dudes. Two great albums. Another great album, Leafhound, Grower of Mushroom. Okay, this is the Repertoire reissue. All right, I love this album a lot. Again, just kind of personifies that early British heavy rock sound. You got, let's get the lineup for you here. Bear with me a second. You got Pete French on vocals. Pete would also go on to sing with Atomic Rooster briefly after this band kind of split up. You got Michael Halls on lead guitar, Derek Brooks on rhythm guitar, Stuart Brooks on bass, and Keith Young on drums. Okay, so what do we got? You got Freelance Fiend kicking off the album. Again, killer. Hard rock, blues rock riffs. Sad Road to the Sea. Another great tune. Drown My Life in Fear. Love that tune. Work My Body. Stray. With a Minute to Go. Title track, Grower of Mushrooms. Stagnant Pool. Killer tune. Sawdust Caesar to kind of finish it all off. And then It's Gonna Get Better and Hip Shaker. And Too Many Rock and Roll Times are the bonus tracks that they have on here, recorded various times. What I really love about this album is I love the kind of rhythm and lead guitar sound of both Halls and Brooks. Really, really good slashing guitar lead. Man, it's like they had this perfectly kind of fuzzy but not too out there sound. French's vocals are fantastic. And just some really, really great songs. Again, there's probably, on this album, there's probably a little more variety than there is on the Sirlordbaltimore, but the Sirlordbaltimore certainly is the more bruising, heavy album of the two. But this one, if you're like a Zeppelin fan and you like the kind of all little nuances that Zeppelin brought to their music very early on, you know, a little blues, a little funk, certainly heavy rock. Not funk, I meant folk, not funk. These guys were very good at that. And again, you can certainly hear some of the seeds of what we later knew to be called stoner. You know, like if you're a fan of Pentagram, all right, who most people, you know, also call one of the pioneers of doom and stoner. These guys came out a little bit before Pentagram, not much, and you can hear they probably got some influence of both East Coast bands, right? But yeah, I'd put this up with a lot of the heavy, heavy stuff of its time period. Okay, great album, as is this. All right, so two excellent early heavy rock albums, one from the U.S., one from Britain. Which one do I like better? I love both of these a lot, okay? But for its just sheer kind of bludgeoning heaviness, I'm going to give the edge to Sirlordbaltimore in a unanimous decision. Leafhound puts up a good fight for most of the fight, but puts up a good fight for most of the competition. All right, but in the end, those heavy fists of Sirlordbaltimore just pounds away for 12 rounds and wins this one in a unanimous decision. 116, 110, 117, 111, 119, 109 over Leafhound. But you know what? They're both great. So curious to see what you guys think. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just an excuse to talk about two very, very cool albums that might have somewhat of a similarity, whether they're from the same era, same genre, maybe they had members that floated in and out of each band, or whatever, right? I usually try and pick stuff that's got this somewhat of a connection there, somewhere, some way, somehow, however slight it might be, but that's okay. But in the end, it's just an excuse to talk about two really cool albums, and hopefully, you know, we've got a bunch of people watching this show who have never heard either and like this kind of music. Well, you know what? Now is a perfect example to go out and discover both of them for the first time. But if you've been listening to them for years, it's a great time to pull them off the shelf, listen to them again, right? Enjoy the greatness that is Sirlordbaltimore and Leafhound. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Visit us on Facebook. The poll with these two is running live right now. All right, go and vote. Go and listen to both albums. I got YouTube links to both albums up on the Facebook page. Check them both out. Right now, Sirlordbaltimore is in the lead, but it's early. You never know what might happen. All right. Judging by the far from overwhelming number of votes, I'm guessing that a bunch of people have not heard either of these albums. I can usually tell when I do the polls on Facebook, which are albums that might be a little too obscure for some folks. And, you know, because usually if I run the poll and after 2 or 3 albums, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 people voting and commenting. After a couple hours, we have, you know, well under 100. So I'm guessing a lot of people have not voted because they haven't heard either album. So, you know what? Now's the time to rectify that. Go out and listen to both of these albums. Kingdom Come by Sirlordbaltimore. Growers of Mushroom from Leafhound. You won't regret it. Take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.